Hi, I'm Sriram and today we're at the Cass's Maritime Museum for a 100-year tour of life-saving machines. Today Raf will show us a collection in history. I'm very excited. Let's go explore.
That one, there, and cock the leg over, like that. You sit in there. Right, the same, when you get off, same way back. See, three points of contact. 1, 2, and 3. And straight back. Off you go. Left foot's on first. And hang on there. Left foot, cock the leg over. That's it. Grab hold of the other bar. There you are. Here no, you can't do. I'll turn that on fine. Here you are. See, I'll show you. So this will show you how you sit back on it there. Right. So what you do is you release your hand and your leg and cock your leg over this way. So you go like that. Okay. So you cock your leg over its back. That's it. Yeah. That's it. There you go. Sort of like that. That's it. It's always to the ground.
You're okay.
Yes. That's it. See? There you go. So it's a bit high for you. Yeah, that's okay. But that's what you're going to do. Go backwards. One of the very early ambulances. See what year it is? Can you work out that?
Okay, 1912.
1912. Do you know how long ago? That's roughly over 100 years old.
Yeah.
So these still work. And these were in the movie Gallipoli, and one of the very early movies we did. So these are crank handle type. You see that? Yeah. So you actually had to crank handle to start her up. And so these actually, not a very comfortable one to sort of ride in, but they're okay. So come around this way and just jump up there. All right. And then we'll turn the siren on, which is actually, that's all it is. And occasionally, it used to have the little air squeezer down the back. But so you had the crank handle, you had the starter, and someone would sit here cranking that up. And this was in the war days. So that's, and then we got a 1927, this one in here. This one here was pretty modern. And this was electric start, and so we take these cars around and show them at car shows. And then we got this one in 1946. This was in Melbourne, the ambulance service in Melbourne, Victorian Civil Ambulance. And then as we go along, 1957, this actually car came from the Snowy Mountain scheme, which was a big project that they built all of the water system, the hydroelectric scheme. And then through to Melbourne, this is the V8, a Chrysler. So this was, but you can feel the material on it. So it's solid. It's really, if you had an accident in one of these, you'd be the one that'd crumple. These cars are built, whereas today the car is designed to crumple in an accident, so you know all the shock and the injury occurs to the car and not you. And this one in here, we've had this in the TV series, you know, so we do a lot of TVs and movies. And working up here, this car was used in Benalla. It actually existed in Benalla in Victoria. And we had a big train accident up there with the Southern Aurora train crash. This is one of the first cars that sort of got into it. This one was the Studebaker. So it's an American type car which we made into it, but a lot of the cars we had are from different ambulance companies in Victoria. We had 17 different ambulance services in Victoria originally, where today we got one. So each one of these came from the different services around it, and they're different. Normally how many patients do we normally carry in an ambulance? Do you know?
Like one patient.
One patient, yeah. We actually used to carry in these ones 2 patients. These ones we actually could do 4, which is not really good because if someone gets really sick, which one do you deal with, you know, when you've got, so that's why we get 1 patient so we can focus on them. Like you're more important than me, or am I more important than you? You've got to work out all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is the first, have you heard of the Mica ambulance trucks around here?
No.
These are virtually like pre-hospitals. They're the mobile intensive care ambulances. So come around here and we'll show you what it was like we'll have a look in the back of this one. So come down past me, and we'll come back. And this is like a little mini hospital when it first started out. And so you can see all of the different medical gear. It's so heavy, the gear, we couldn't actually take it out because it's all anchored in there.
Oh.
And have you heard of CPR? They do to try and...
Oh, yes.
Yep. Well, this thing in here, which is called a thumper, we used to fit a patient under here, and this thing would be banging on your chest and you'd adjust it from the engine vacuum. Technology now is that it's all plastic, and it's like, because it used to break a few ribs if you didn't set it right. So that was how it all started up in the early days, and you can see here the pictures of it all in its early portion of it. All right, there you go. And so that's MICA. MICA is really important. So it's a mobile intensive care ambulance, and so these are all our other various cars, of which we're actually getting this one going again, fixing all the problems on it. So that's a Humber Super Snipe, and that one's been had a lot of problems that someone donated to us, that it's actually had a lot of wiring issues. So we're ripping all the wiring out and replacing it all. So we can register it and get it on the road. So that's that particular car. We have a lot of stretchers to try and over the period of time. And remember I said to you there were 17 ambulances, services. They changed down to 5, like northeast, northwest, north, all that, down to 2, which is a rural, the country ambulance and the metro ambulance. This was a country ambulance, this one, and the metro one's the one in front. So we can show you inside here. So again, we're down to 1 patient in here to be looked after, and that's you. All right, and then we've got all our other various items we can use to sort of help us address the patient and look after them. Spine boards, these ones that just basically, they are very rough to when you take them in and out to unlock them. See as you lift them out, see the wheels starting to come down?
Yeah.
Yep, so that's mechanically, that's what they're supposed to do. But they are, and I'll just get that out of the way because it's stuck up there. Yep, that's fixed it. It bounces around, as you can see when you're going, it bounces around a bit. So today, we've got an electronic stretcher. So you just come out here, press the button, wheels come down, and it's nice and easy going in and out. And you don't have to physically lift. That's why there are a lot of female paramedics. There isn't a lot of heavy lifting, like trying to pull that door down. It's very heavy. So that was one of our biggest problems in getting a back injury, by lifting patients and stuff around. An occasion when we have to go up into the mountains, here we had 4-wheel drive ambulances. Watch yourself on the power cord, yeah, like these ones and that one. We get them down in these cars from the mountain and put them into these type of cars to address. So that was the rural one, and here is the metropolitan vehicle when we had 2 different services, okay?
Yeah.
And then after that became 1 service, Ambulance Victoria, and this is the current ambulance of today.
Yeah.
Normally this one would have a electric stretcher, right? But the electric stretcher is $65,000. So we've put a normal stretcher back into it. All right, and that's all we do now, so we can use it. But everything else is pretty all standard. Everything is exactly the same in here, so you know where to look. So whereas when we had the rural and the metro, they were different spots, and it was very difficult. Okay, so that's what we've done. On top of all of our other ambulances we've got, we have. We just finished our big open day yesterday, so it's a bit messy. But if you come around here, all right, and take a video, you have a look inside here. This is the helicopter service, which I'll just throw that one. This is this is a police helicopter,
Yeah.
which originally we shared as an ambulance and police helicopter, but now it's dedicated police. And this is our helicopters we've had. They've just been superseded now. And these ones are ours. So we've got a police, ambulance, and the CFA from the fire helicopter. And we've got a video to show that's when we have tour groups through. So that's what it looks like. These actually are radio control models, so they actually do fly. But they're going to be donated by somebody who's just said, look, we need to look after them, and said, well, we'll certainly do that. So we've put that. So you can see the paramedic around here on the side when he's winched in and out of the helicopter. This is all the gear he has on. And then hanging underneath him is this type of stretcher. And if you go down through that middle part there and walk through there, this is the stretch that normally exists off the helicopter when they're doing their winching down. Okay, it's really strong and sturdy because it's, you think about the wind and all movements and that, and you banged around. So that's part of that part in here. What else can I show you? Well, we've...
What about these ambulance buses?
The bus is around the corner, actually. We don't have any space in here to fit it. This was what we call a disaster displan bus. If, for example, like a elderly sits home or a hospital we had to evacuate, we could fit, we've got stretchers in the back and seating, so to take them out of the hospital and get them somewhere else in a large mass casualty. So that's there. There's a picture of it up there. There's a picture of our original, the first helicopter we had servicing the Dolphin up the top there. And these are here, when we have our tours, we show people how over a period of time medical gear has changed. Like here's the medical gear that you'd see in 1965. This is just Beck's powders and an aspirin and virtually bandages. It's as simple as that. To today, where we actually have drug kits and defibs and monitors that you can show here over the period of time. Oxygen gear. It's gone from that big box we used to have to carry up there, that big brown box, right, and to virtually very small units. And then, of course, you've seen these before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right? What are they?
I forgot what they were.
They're defibrillator monitors you find at shopping centres. If someone's had a heart attack, you can grab those. So that's the size that they are today. They do exactly the same as these machines do, and but a lot more compact. Then we show the communications of yesteryear. If you wanted an ambulance back in the early 1930s or so, you had to go up to the corner shop, ring that. We had about 4 or 5 of these around in Melbourne, and that would ring the control room and you'd say, can I get an ambulance? Whereas today, we carry portable radios that we can talk all over Victoria on.
So practically, if there's an emergency today, you can actually call 000 on your phone to get the call. Yep,
instead of having to go and walk down the street and find a phone and ring them manually like they used to do. And before that, you'd actually have to go down to the police station. You see that stretcher over there on the cart? Yeah. That's the first ambulance. That's how we would get people down, is the policeman would come down with that cart and wheel you down to a hospital or a doctor if you survived that particular trip, which would be very, very rough.
Wait, what is all about these phones?
This is over the period of time. This was the first pager. That's a pager. And that's all we would get to go down to our ambulance car and call on the radio to find out what it was. Otherwise, we had to have people sitting in the branch just waiting for a call. And this is what, you've got your iPhones today. Well, they used to be something like, all you'd have is a phone by itself, and then you'd have a texting device. And as you can see, over the period of time, they've gone down to the Apple iPhones had Blackberries. So that's all you had. You had a phone, or you had a texter. But today, it's the world's at your fingertips.
Now you can just phone and text and WhatsApp or any phone.
Everything.
Messages.
Yeah, you can do everything. So that's all the communication and medical gear we've got. And then if you want to, just I'll bring you around in here, around this way. Follow me up. This is just in our offices are all our medals, and we've got all the badges of different services in here.
Yeah. And toy ambulances.
Yep, plenty of these. And these are all of the badges we've got from interstate and overseas. We carry all those. Upstairs here, you can come this way. All the file systems of all our ambulances of yesteryear. We've got information records in manuals going back to the early 1930s. So we've got various. Here's your first Humi crib that was designed by a paramedic, where little babies sitting there and they look after him. So that's pretty old, that one.
And you can see the baby through the plastic.
You've got to keep the idea on the baby. Yep, that's right. And then we go down here is all the medical equipment of yesteryear, where you could see oxygen. Remember I spoke about oxygen? So a huge big box. This one's here, the Commissarov. They used it was virtually trying to minimise everything. Like imagine trying to carry all of this stuff up a set of stairs to an apartment. You'd be breathless by the time you got up to the top. So, and they were very, very heavy as well. Here's more like the more defibrillators we had over the period of time. They're that size, this size, and all the different types of bags we had. This is all about the communication gear. So if you show like to the portable we've got today, which is something of this size, which originally became smaller and smaller from that size down to here. These are the old two-way radios out of the cars. They had valves in them, so you used to have to wait for a little while for the things to warm up, then you could talk to them. So these are all the different variations of radios we've got. And this is our uniform of today, currently, and back to yesteryear. So we've got years ago, they used to have like a military uniform with cap and hat and spats on there with those plastic leather cuffs on the feet, and they call them spats. And so we've got interstate ambulance ones, ours, and they're over various stages. We've got them down to for flight paramedics, we have to have a special type of leather jacket, because these are sort of more flammable, but these aren't. These are leather ones. And of course for motorbike, they're actually proper leathers to protect you in case you fall over. And so that's a shot. And then if we walk out the back here, through here and stand up here, you'll be able to do a scan of the cars across here. So what do you think of that?
Cool.
Not bad, is it? Get a better view of it.
Right.
So when we have tours, we have a lot of groups come through, scout groups at night. We usually take a photo of everyone down the bottom there, and they get a good view of what's going on. So you're impressed with that?
Yeah, very impressed.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah, this is a lot of years of work of people before me, and all of the volunteers. With the guys we've got here are all volunteers. They're not paid, so we do this because we like doing it, and we have so much fun to see people like you come through and have a look and say, wow, that's pretty cool.